Hi everyone, my name is Danil Chernyshev, and this is the second episode of Russian Lawyers Review, our show where we review different situations from all over the world and discuss how it could be applied on the Russian soil with Russian law. And this is my co host, Ilya Chernyshev.
Hi everyone. But usually lawyers are speaking and talking, but usually lawyers are talking about other people's troubles. But here we have an unique case.
Yes.
Daniel will share his own story, which is not very pleasant, but not a very big issue, I guess, for him. So he's delighted to share it with us.
Yeah, last time in our previous episode, we promised you to tell about the difference between how um, American authorities and Russian authorities deal with illegal immigrants. And in a sense, I had a sneak peek into what illegal immigrants could face on arrival to the United States. So, long story short, last month in October.
Wait.
Yeah.
First, let's discuss briefly the main difference, in my opinion, immigration systems between Russia and the United States, at least from the outsider's point of view.
Yes.
And the main difference that in Russia, if the Russian state granted you visa, it means you already passed most of the possible checks on the
Yes.
government side database. And that means if you have a Russian visa, so the chance that you will be denied enter into Russia is extremely small.
Yes.
There must be some extraordinary circumstances or change in your status, which got well known to the Russian authorities. But in the United States, for this, I guess you can share a little bit more. I never been on the U.S. soil and do not have plans as well. But I know that if you got a United States visa, it doesn't mean you really will travel. And even if you're visa-free to United States,
yes,
not obligatory you will visit it.
Yes, it's very interesting and quite unique, actually, system. Maybe it's just because of their historical situation of being nation of immigrants, right? So they need this kind of several checks, right? So first you get a visa in the U.S. consulate, right? You have an interview. They're asking you all sorts of questions like, where do you live? What's your job? Are you married, not married? So a lot of different questions, and those questions could seem related, unrelated. So they want to catch you if you're lying, basically. But I had U.S. Visitor visa, right, which is B1, B2 main type of visa for all kinds of visitors, right, and it does not guarantee entry.
Okay, so but as far as I remember, you traveled using that visa previously.
10 years ago, I had another visa.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's
So
new
that
one,
was
new
a
visa.
second one.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So you are flying to United States recently, and you got denied, right? So please
Well,
tell
this
us
is
about
long story
your
short,
experience.
yes, but I was flying from Scotland to JFK Airport, the main hub in New York City. That was a long flight. I don't really like long flights, but finally arrived. I arrived to the border of the United States. It's actually quite surprising that behind the counters of those border force officers, there is a photo of Donald Trump, the active president of the United States, in a kind of golden um, box or something. So
That's lovely.
yes, because I've never seen anything like that in Europe or even in Russia. So they,
Yeah, I do not recall. So if you travel to Russia, I don't think you really will see the portrait of the Russian president. So good, good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and yeah, I waited for like 40, 50 minutes. I came to the officer, and that's when the second test began.
Hmm.
So they started asking me again all sorts of questions, which I was already being asked when I got the visa, right? And this officer waved to someone after apparently he wasn't very satisfied with my answers, and I went into their office of the CBP. It's Customs and Border Force of the Border Protection of the United States. And there I met a lady, Officer Chaudhry, and again, that was a test number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe just merely formality, like because you failed the second one.
Well, that was a much more detailed one.
Hmm.
So she was asking about all my family history, about my interests, about my profession, and so on and so on. She even asked about my Instagram profile and social networks.
Okay, next time they will tell you, okay, that's YouTube video was really nice about
Yeah, yeah,
US
yeah,
border
yeah,
crossing.
yeah. And in the very end of this chat, she was she told me that I have to give up all devices for inspection, and she gave me a small leaflet which explained why I have to do that.
Okay, did you have the right to refuse providing them?
No,
Okay,
I haven't been explained any rights, and as far as I understand, as far as I checked the U.S. legislation, then I well, I think even American lawyers say that it is a gray area until I
hmm.
entered the United States. So technically, I don't really have any rights. And I think this kind of legal situation actually allowed them to establish the Guantanamo prison.
Yeah,
Uh,
just they move it afar from American soil.
yes, so it's on Cuba, I think. So if it's not on American soil, then none of US laws applicable to US officers who are managing this prison, right? So it's very convenient.
So, and did they ask for passwords, like
Yes, yes, of
iCloud
course.
passwords?
So I not iCloud, but all the passwords to all devices I had. So all phones, basically. For some reason, they didn't want to look into my laptop or iPad. They just were okay with phones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I waited for another hour, and then I was told that um, I am denied entry, right? And when I because and I was explained that I have to go the same way I arrived. So since I arrived from Edinburgh, from the UK, they have to use the same flight of the same airline. So and
That's actually weird. Did they offer you like you can buy another flight
no,
ticket to
no,
another
no,
direction?
no. They told me that it is a courtesy, so they technically can, but in that case, they didn't.
Oh,
So it
okay.
just for me, it looked like they just don't want any additional hassle with me, really. So they have procedure. They don't care about anything.
Okay, so same flight company. They have to
Yes,
send
yes,
you back.
yes, yes. And this flight to the flight back to Scotland was in like 7 or 8 hours since I've arrived. So I was waiting in this area, and then when time already came to the departure, I was told that they had some issue with accessing one of my phones, and I will have to depart with the next flight, which would happen in 24 hours. So they transferred me from T4 terminal to T5 because T4 was closing overnight. And I just experienced the full kind of ICE handling. So I was put into handcuffs and I was riding on the back of this CBP car between terminals on the tarmac, between airplanes, basically, and with my hands behind my back, I was transferred to this T5 terminal. I was set in the same kind of border force area, like with a lot of chairs, but this special area was for people who will be deported. And all these people, there was a few of them besides of me, they were shackled, chained to the seats.
So really, you were all chained just because you were denied to entry to United States.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And actually, there is a legal thing again when she was explaining to me the ways how the situation could develop. She told me that if you voluntarily take your application for entry back, then they will just cancel the visa and deport me. But if I don't do that, they will apply different procedure, and I will have basically I will be banned from entry for 5 years, and that would involve more paperwork and so on and so on. So of course, since they already decided to refuse entry, of course, I didn't want additional paperwork and additional ban. So, and later, actually, I learned from others, some other people who were also denied entry, that to some of them, they automatically applied ban for 5 years.
Oh, maybe
but they
depends
were
on the ground.
Yeah, so they were kind enough to me to be so kind and just allow me to take the application back.
Okay, thanks to them. But if someone told you that you have some rights, or maybe called to
No.
your relatives, because
Yes.
you know,
About the call, yes.
we were worried about this a little bit.
Yeah, basically they told me that I have a right to call one call to relatives or the consulate of Russia. And
But it was late night, right? So
it was late night.
I don't think the latter was a good idea.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting that on first occasion, when I asked to call relative, they asked for a number, and I didn't know the number. So I asked for to call the consulate, so the consul can call my family, right? And they told me, consulate is not doing this kind of thing, so we won't give you the call to consulate in that case. So it was not like my right in a sense, but they just, okay, well, it doesn't work like that. We won't give you the opportunity to call. But later, when I spoke to another officer, So that officer was kinder, and she just took my phone from somewhere, brought it to me, and I was able to use my phone to
Okay.
call.
So was it a special room or some facility when the all temporarily detained person was staying?
No, not at all. So basically, there is three reasons to refuse entry or ask additional questions, right? So first one is general admissibility, so problems with papers, identity, and so on and so on. Second, something in the luggage. And third, agriculture. And basically, everyone who has any kind of trouble with immigration status, they were brought into this area. It's just a lot of counters, just like our office, and a lot of chairs, just the ordinary airport chairs. And
But with chain?
no,
No.
only the furthermost
Okay. If
area,
you failed.
last few rows of chairs, they were with shackles,
Okay.
basically.
That's interesting. And how long you stayed in that area
Yeah.
in total?
So overall, that was because I missed the first flight because of that situation with the device. So I spent there 35 hours just sitting on the chair, shackled to the chair. They were very kind to unshackle me for a few hours in the night.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yes.
quite humanitarian approach.
Yes, yes. And they were given some food. And
Was it nice? American dream taste?
that was not really, well, it was edible.
Okay.
I've
great.
tried it. So some officers were very
And
kind.
it was free. So
It was free. It was American government actually provided me with this food, which I'm grateful for. And also there was some books, and for some reason half of the books were in Hebrew. I don't know why, because I think Jewish
community is strong
Israeli
in New York, I think.
probably, but
That's
still, I don't think they have that much trouble with immigration.
Yeah, but visa free nowadays is not giving you 100% success entry rate. I read some news before,
Right.
and indeed, even some journalists report that the tourist flow from Europe to United States recently declined, but it's not clear if the reasons are purely economical or the reason that tourists just not sure if they will be granted for entry, and maybe they choose some other destination like South America countries or Canada, which do not report issues with that. So great, and then you got back to the airplane heading to UK, right?
Yes. So basically, when my time has come, I was escorted. I was checked again that I don't have any weapons or anything. I was escorted back, handcuffed to my terminal, uh, uncuffed, and then I was escorted onto a plane. Just last person without any shackles, and that was free flight again back to
That
Scotland.
generous, even keeping in mind you had money for buying
Yes,
any
yes,
flight tickets,
yes.
so they prefer to spend money. It wasn't actually money of the United States government; it was money of the flight company.
Yes, airline.
Thank you for sharing your experience. I believe that's not quite often evidence available online. I was trying to search while waiting some messages from you, and what we can find in social media or some journalist sources, very limited, and usually it's only about experience of some uh, of some and usually it's experience of some really heavy and not regular cases.
Yeah.
But from what I heard from you and what you repeated now, the interesting thing, the obsession of United States government with the chains and
Yes.
the physical limitation of the freedom of the temporarily detained person.
Yes. Yes.
And that's not clear for me. Is it culture thing, or maybe it's historical thing, or maybe if they lost the guy at this corner, he will run away and disappear in New York, and nobody will find him.
It's interesting. Maybe it's really a cultural thing, and but I've seen a lot of different detainees during this time, and one Polish guy just through the night he was sitting for a few hours, and I saw him escorted from this area in like full chains. You know, when he has handcuffs which are chained to his um,
Belt.
belt, and also his legs are chained to each other. So it was just like these ICE ads on YouTube when they um, just put those illegal immigrants onto planes.
Yeah, and
So
that's reported. They chained even on the board on the of the plane during the entire flight, which, in my understanding, quite unique,
mhm.
and also have some issues with the air safety, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe it's kind of historical tradition as well, because 400 years ago they brought people chained like this, and now it just
I think so. So, and the distance between a free person entering and person who denied to entry and getting chained is just 2% opinion. Wow. And as we agreed that we compare Russian and overseas experience, I would say that Russian police, while they owe immigration border control, while they treat foreigners who uh, or getting denied to entry, which is extremely rare for visa traveler. So mostly that's issue for visa-free visitors to country. And actually, in many cases, they might knew in advance that they would be denied, because on the Russian police official website, you can check your details and see if there is any restrictions for you imposed. Flight companies are not doing that, but any traveler can do. Anyway, so the difference that Russian police and Russian border control, they will use hand chains, they will use handcuffs or any types of chaining or physical restriction only if you try or show the intention, do not follow their orders to stay in specific location. So, and basically the physical restriction is not necessary if the foreigners agree to comply with the orders. And the difference is extremely rare for such non-criminal cases, because when there is dealing with criminal, of course, the awareness, attention, and the number of special tools you use would be much more severe and you're ready for some fight. But for this, when technically you do not violate anything, right? You are not even punished for someone.
No.
You didn't make any offense for United States.
No, I didn't.
So they just refuse you to enter.
Yes.
So, but why should you be treated like a criminal and get a chain?
Well,
That's
I was literally treated like illegal immigrants because I had illegal immigrants sat next to me and I was talking to them. So the actual people who jumped over the fence in Mexico and lived illegally in the United States for years. So I was just sitting next to them. A guy who had his entry denied with a legal visa. So that's the approach.
okay. So they have one solution for all types of people, and
Yes.
It works. In fact, in Russia, we also have such solution, and there are basically two possible scenarios. So the first scenario, when you just denied to enter, and then you got this decision, you don't have an option really to appeal it, although it's not very common in Russia, but in theory it's possible. And you just wait in the limbo in this area before the border control. And sometimes in some Russian airports, like Moscow Sheremetyevo airport, you can see people who sit and wait for also for procedures. So, and then if you deny it, you basically can still wait here and wait in your next flight back. And there is also second way if you got caught by the police inside the country. After necessary formalities like imposing penalty, court hearing if necessary, for penalty, and the court hearing for placing you in the place of temporary detention of foreigners who violated Russian immigration laws. And in this facility, it's not a prison, but of course they have a limited freedom here. But you don't wear this prison special wear. You don't wear prison special clothes, uniform. You wear your own clothes. And then when the government bought you tickets, or your government bought you tickets, which is, for example, true for Uzbekistan citizens, or if your family or your company, if such occasion happened, bought your flight ticket and it was agreed with the court bailiffs who administer the departure. So the court bailiffs will transfer you to airport and then go together with you through the all departure procedures.
They won't be chaining you to seats.
No.
Yeah.
That's very friendly and natural, and there is no like treating you like a criminal. That's true, and that's extreme difference in my opinion.
And in this kind of facility, detention facility, do they have a right to see a lawyer, for example?
If it's an airport, that's a gray area. Actually, same as in US, but in theory, the meeting is still possible. So if someone need legal assistance and if someone is restricted, so the lawyer can actually find the way to get his client. And if we speak about facilities which is already in Russia, so the right to meet with the attorney is not limited. you can enjoy it freely. Moreover, you still have freedom of communication. So that just the time for communication using your mobile devices is limited, because they have some regime to keep this facility in discipline. But in fact, you have freedom of communication, and all your written communication, whatever, you can send letters if you stay a little bit longer for that, and they are not checked. So there are
There is no censorship.
no censorship. The reason is very simple, because the people who violated immigration rules, they are not criminals. So their limitation on their rights is limited and not that severe as for people who committed crime. And if he serves in prison his jail time, on the return way to home, he might be placed in the detention facility, but there will not be difference between him and the other foreigners. Although from the safety and security purpose, of course, the facility management is trying to keep such criminals serve their jail time in the separate room.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, that makes sense. And in terms of timing, right? Because I've checked the United States legislation, and there is no exact period of time for how long those people, the illegal immigrants, right, could be kept in the detention centers. So it's like whatever courts would see fit. So, and do we have this kind of time in Russia?
Well, in Russia we also don't have a very strict timing on that. The first period for the temporary detention, it's 90 days. So, and then if necessary, it might be extended. Also, recent law enforcement practice set the deadline 2 years for such stay in the special detention center, but mostly such cases connected with some problematic situation when the deportation is complicated, or when the identity of the person is not clear, especially, for example, if there is a stateless persons, and there is a big question if the stateless person in general shall be taken in such facility, keeping in mind that Russia is a member on the international conventions for avoiding the stateless status for the individuals. So usually it's some special cases. The most of detained person, of course, send it back as soon as possible, because nobody wants to spend government money for providing them stay, food, and all necessary comfort.
It's interesting. Interesting how those systems are different, even though many people, many media say that Russian authorities and Russian governmental bodies are very
dystopian,
totalitarian, yes. And in this regard, and very simple thing we just reviewed, that in the US, it's actually, you will be treated like a criminal.
Yeah, definitely has difference. And I think, personally for me, I'm proud for my country that we treat foreigners politely and with respect, even if something goes wrong with their status. And of course, for those people who got legal troubles in US, just feel sorry that they had to go through such challenge, especially keeping in mind that number of our people went same illegal way via Mexico. So in this case, the advice is very simple. Learn carefully the legal essential of the country you're going to travel. I'm not sure if that advice would be helpful for you in your situation, but still, it's good to know what might be the worst scenario for you. And especially in modern digital world, maybe it's also a good idea to think if in your digital devices, in your communication, might be something which might be point of interest for the country you travel into.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And also, I just recalled an interesting point about the rules-based order that is proclaimed in different countries. And I just remembered how, because I was sitting in this area for 35 hours, and I was overhearing a lot of different stories. But I just remembered one story in particular when Israeli couple, they who were not speaking English, they were speaking Russian. So they called Russian-speaking officer of this border force, and he was explaining how they should not come into country with their green cards after 12 years not being in the country. So they told him that we have this green card, we are returning home, like this. And as an argument, when he was talking to them, he said, but you know who is the president now. So that was the line of argumentation for the official, for the US official, to tell how the rules now work.
Okay, wish them rules be stable and clear for everyone. I think that's all from me for tonight.
Thank you very much for co-hosting this show. Thank you for watching, and our next video would be about very famous case that also happened in the United States, and we will be reviewing the death of George Floyd. Thank you for your time, and have a good night.
Bye.